Hello everyone and welcome to the FPL Cougars Show. I'm Chris.
I'm Kieran.
And today we are previewing Game Week 10. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. We'll be discussing each upcoming Game Week fixture, looking at the potential key players, differentials and clean sheets. We'll also talk captaincy a little bit, reveal our team's planned transfers and a whole heap more. Right, let's get right into last week's Game Week, which just ended last night, actually recording this on Tuesday. So Keek, how did you end up doing?
Finally a decent week, I think. 78 minus 4. I went from 2.2 million up to 1.6 million. So there's progress finally being made at least. That feels good, I suppose. McCarthy with the 7 points despite conceding, it was nice with 8 saves. James 8. Tellers 6, Eileen 6, the Bruno captaincy, which everyone's salty about for some reason. Son 10, Calvert-Lewin with his brace as well on the 13. And then, I had to have Eileen and Justin come off the bench because of Wilson's no-show, despite Bruce saying he was fit. And kept Salah on the bench in the end. And I did Trent and Wickham, which obviously both scored 0, up to Watkins and Tellers for 8 points. So, I guess minus the 4, so it's 4 gained altogether. But 2 non-players out of my team now, so that's all good.
Yeah. What did your game week rank end up being with 78? Was it quite high?
424,000. So it's all right.
It's pretty good. I was just going to say, for the benefit of the listeners, we were chatting last night, and Kieran had already had a great game week by then. And Southampton had just conceded the clean sheet, and you were still down on your luck. You were on 70 odd points then.
Yeah, but Kilman and McCarthy, and just I was thinking at least one of them keep a clean sheet, and it's just conspired to get the least points as usual, don't they? So
McCarthy did all right in the end.
Obviously, McCarthy did well, yes, but if he'd kept the clean sheet, which Kilman, you've screwed yours. Keep the clean sheet for Southampton at least, and then he would have been on 14 points or something. It would have been really good.
Wow, fair enough. No, it was a good week. On my side of things, 58. The differential captaincies have let me down a bit so far this season, and it was another one in Grealish. And did fancy him. He'd had some great home form, and it was funny really. The only other game he'd blanked at home, he'd also got a 1 when he'd got a yellow card for not being happy. So ended up with that. My 2 transfers were Salah out for Fernandes and Trent out for Chilwell, so they both returned. I was happy about that. Otherwise, it was a fairly mediocre week, really. Calvert-Lewin, Son, Chilwell, my main point scorers, really. Ended on 58, which I was surprised was above the average, but it was about 125k drop, so down to 970k at the moment.
How was that a drop when it's above average and you're only around the 800k mark anyway? That doesn't make sense.
I know. It's strange. So I've got quite a few problems with the team, really, in terms of the bench. Seiss, Mitchell, Wilson all didn't play. Obviously, Wilson, like you, came off. Lascelles looks like he's picked up a small knock. So, I got a few problems heading into Game Week 10. So it might be a little bit of surgery. All right. Manager of the week. Who was it?
Yeah, it was Champion Reds from Ray Hennessy with 86 points this week, which is pretty big. So I wasn't that far behind, I suppose, in the manager week. Overall rank of 25k, up from 101k. So big gains. He had Leno with the double Arsenal defence of Leno with 10 and Tierney with 6. Robertson, faith in the Liverpool defence of 12. Chilwell 7, Zuma 6. Double defences all round here basically. And then he had the defence clean sheet sweep, which is very rare from all of his defenders and his keeper this week. So nice. Then Bruno captain on 22, Werner on 5. Should have been so much more. Kane 4, and then Calvert-Lewin with his brace as well. And he only had 2 blanks in his team, which is Zaha and Grealish. So altogether, that's a strong ass team.
I tell you what, as well, 86 points with only 10 players as well. Zaha didn't even get auto subbed out because all the bench scored nothing.
Yeah.
Fair play. Who says you need 11 players? All right. Let's move on to the game week preview. We've got, kind of interesting because it's Friday night, but 2 teams that aren't that interesting at the moment. Palace and Newcastle going head to head. Newcastle, you and I both disappointed obviously by Wilson first and foremost. I imagine Bruce said he was fit because he probably is fit, but he was maybe ill, so he didn't feature. But yeah, what do you think? Wait around, keep him in for this game week. Hope he comes back.
Probably got to keep him at this point. Yeah, it's a good enough fixture to keep him for. And the next 3 or the next 4, well, actually next 5 are good. I think so. Yeah, got to keep him and just hope he's fine. If they said he was basically fine last week, Bruce basically lying. I don't know if it was illness or maybe there was a setback or something, we don't know. But he literally said that Wilson was comfortable and that he trained for like 2 or 3 days. So, whatever. Just got to hope he plays this week. I think his ownership is quite low again now. So, yeah, only 12%. So, we're just hoping for some goals. Palace didn't look all that great defensively. I mean, they conceded to Burnley, which is of all teams at the moment. So, I'm happy to own him at least for now.
Yeah, Wilson. I kind of hope he does come back. So Newcastle on the road have been pretty poor. 2.5 xG on the road in 4 games is the second worst of all teams so far this season. They average a league low of 1.75 shots on target away from home. So yeah, they do need Wilson back. It was like a big sort of night and day difference really of how much he makes a difference to their attack. So in that Chelsea game, Almiron had the highest XG with 0.16, so minimal, tiny numbers. Wilson is
bench.
Yeah, awful. And Wilson is usually averaging 0.62 per game. I mean, that's like nearly 6 times better. It's still not huge, but it's pretty good. So yeah, they do need Callum back.
I think Wilson buries that Carroll chance right at the death, and I think Wilson probably buries the one that Joe Linton has just outside the box as well. So yeah, there's 2 Joe Linton and Carroll who are obviously awful. That Wilson needs to get in the team as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, like you say, if Newcastle's fixtures do look quite good, and their defence could be good as well. I mean, they've not kept many clean sheets so far this season, but their defenders are cheap. So maybe if you're looking for a differential, Lewis is actually the highest owned. The one you had earlier in the season, 2.1%. I just think that maybe their defence could be a source of points. I think their defence much better away from home. They conceded on average just 1 big chance per game, which is actually the 3rd best record in the league. So yeah, they are putting up some good numbers on the defensive side of things, if not the attack. On Palace, Keek, Zaha obviously missing last night. There replacements if he's out again, maybe.
Well, I mean, just first of all, there was basically zero work. Like I don't think Hodgson said anything at all. So I didn't hear any sort of rumours that he might be out with COVID whatsoever. So owners were hopefully sort of looking for some points last night against I'm forgetting blanking who they played. Burnley, yes, Burnley. So yeah, unlucky for them obviously. But yeah, replacements. I mean, Jota at 6.6 million, a nice little downgrade, but obviously not a downgrade in terms of FPL points right now in form. So Jota looks good. Obviously, Grealish is only 0.2 more expensive if you haven't got Grealish. Fornals at 6.5 million, which we mentioned in the Cougar Carbon differential video last week. And then Maddison has also got great fixtures at 7 million. So there's plenty of players around him that you can go to, because I assume he probably tested positive quite recently. I would say maybe a day or 2 before the game. So we'd assume he misses his Friday as well. So that's 2 weeks out of the squad, and seems like you can get points elsewhere, and with players with good fixtures and good points. So yeah,
I kind of think if he's out, Newcastle keep a clean sheet in this game. That's why I sort of target their defenders. That's why I'm hoping the sales comes hurrying back.
And then Mitchell, you own obviously, not in the squad again. His injury obviously, and PVA coming back has ruined his chances in the team, I think. So yeah, he's still 20% owned, 4.1 million, and I think he's probably going to start dropping, isn't he, quite soon, because people are going to start selling. But there's an easy swap to Max Kilman at 4.2 million, who's thriving at the moment. So yeah, easy there. And then other replacements, Kufal possibly at 4.6, Taylor at Burnley, who look like they're sort of getting up to speed with the defence-wise against the sort of lower teams. And then if you could really afford it, possibly up to a City defender with their run of fixtures. Yeah, no,
I think all those options are good. Also on Taylor as well. Kept a clean sheet last night, got a bonus, and he had a price drop. He's 4.4 million there, which is mad. All right, on to lunchtime kickoff Saturday. We've got Liverpool travelling to Brighton. Obviously, Klopp made a big deal about BT and Sky showing these games at ridiculous times because they play is it tomorrow night they play in the Champions League?
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got to try, and so they played late Sunday, Wednesday, and then early Saturday morning. So they are getting a bit of a horrid schedule at the moment. Do you think Brighton have got a chance with a week's rest to do anything against them here? They've been all right defensively at home.
I mean, you just assume not. I mean, it's still Liverpool, and we think. I mean, Salah has been tested negative now, and he actually trained yesterday as well. So,
wow, okay.
Yeah, that's news. And Salah is eligible to play this week in the Champions League tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So if he plays any part in that, then great. Then people who sold Salah are probably trying to get him straight back. I think Salah against who's obviously been rested is going to do well here, to be honest. And I think he looks like the standout captain this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, only see a Liverpool win really.
Yeah, it's funny really. They've got a bit of a mixed bag of like underlying numbers, but I do agree. I think they're just going to be so strong they will win this one, but I think it'll be a close game. I mean, they've only scored 7 goals on the road this season, which is pretty mid-table for them. It's the 9th best overall in the league, but that said, their attacking stats, bar that, are great. So average of 10 shots in the box per game away from home is the second highest total. 3 big chances per game is the third highest. The away form is obviously skewed still somewhat by that Villa game. Average of 5.25 shots on target conceded per game, which is the 5th worst record in the league. So the stats point towards them it being quite an open game. I just think with Liverpool being tied, they're going to try and keep it really tight. I mean, they've got to be tired. There's so many games they're having to play at the moment, and the fact that it's an early one and they've got to travel after sort of getting back maybe Wednesday night, Thursday. Yeah, difficult game.
Yeah, I mean, so XGC from Brighton is 4.41, which is mid-table, of only 4 conceded for the last 4 weeks. So, yeah, they've been doing all right. Lamptey, they're obviously going to be without in this one, but not like he really affects them sort of defensively. He's obviously playing wing-back, and he doesn't do too much in the defence, I suppose. But yeah, the red card, only 1 match ban. Should be back for Saints at home in week 11. And they've still got a decent run of fixtures sort of defensively from 13 to 17. So if you own him, I think you should keep hold of him anyway.
Yeah.
No need to sell him right now. One other player I want to mention just quickly, bit left field, is obviously Welbeck, who's looked quite good in the last 2 games at 5.5 million and 0.1% owned.
Wow.
He's got 9 points in his first 90 minutes of the season with a goal and 3 bonus. The 2 weeks of his stats, he's had 6 shots, 2 big chances, 4 key passes, and 2 big chances created, which is all right, honestly. XG of 0.88 and an XA of 0.94. So, looks like he's sort of nailing down his spot right now. Appears to be getting chances and creating them. And, Brighton, I think, possibly could trouble Liverpool, at least for possibly the clean sheet going, maybe. Let's see what happens. But Welbeck could be under the radar if you really want a super differential. I mean, from 13 to 17, they've got great fixtures. So, I think it's Fulham and then Sheffield United and then another good few as well. I think West Brom are in there as well. So, Welbeck from then if you want to go old school could be a differential.
That's a shout. Differential front for Liverpool, obviously. Jota, he's building up ownership. Slowly but surely, 16% now. So he's not an uber differential like he was a few weeks ago, but his numbers have been great. So it's obviously why people are starting to take notice. 9, 8, 2 and 9 in his last 4. He's not returned away from home in the league so far for Liverpool, so that's worth considering ahead of this one. I'm sure that would change quite soon though, because he has been playing really well. So in the last 4 game weeks, he's averaged the 3rd highest number of shots in the box on average per game of all Liverpool players behind Firmino and Salah. However, he beats both of those for big chances. Where he's had big chances created, where he's had 0.5 created per game and an XA of 0.2 per game. He also bests them both for expected points per appearance. So, in terms of value and points, Jota is really staking a claim. And I don't have Salah now because of transferring out to Fernandes next week, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet. But I am looking at Jota and thinking that I've got enough money to do simply Souček to Jota, and I think if he keeps his form going, I see no reason why he's going to get dropped. And recently they've just been sharing the points around that Liverpool front line. It was Mane and Salah a few weeks ago. Obviously Jota's come into things and displaced them both, or displaced them a little bit, but I think he could be a good shout. What do you think about Jota at the minute?
Well, I've brought him into my Champions League team for fantasy tonight, or for tomorrow. I the guy's on form. No reason for him to be dropped, as you said. So, I think he's a good shout. 6.6 million in midfield for Liverpool. He's on form. Yeah, it's hard to ignore.
Yeah, definitely. Robertson, obviously, a great game against Leicester on Sunday night. His ownership is now higher than Trent, which you kind of expect with Trent being injured. He's got more attacking returns this season now with 3 than Liverpool have clean sheets with 2. I think now they're starting to get on a really hot fixture run, so fixtures look better. Only Tottenham are the traditional top sort of 6 side they face between now and the middle of January, and I think as part of that patched up defence, it's so important that he keeps fit. But you could see sort of a couple of weeks' time he could be the same price as Trent. He's currently 7.1, Trent 7.3. More performances like that, I think he's only going to go up.
Yeah, I would certainly like him going forward. It's just typical FPL, really, that the 3 or 4 of their main back 4 are out, and then they keep a clean sheet. So,
it's mad,
anyone that kept faith of him, deserve those points, I think. So, and obviously they're looking good going forward. But yeah, I want a City defender as well, and I want Chelsea defence, and I've owned Tellers at the moment, so it's really hard to get Liverpool defence as well. So there's a lot of defences that look decent with fixture swings coming up. So
yeah, your defence is sort of like the left field picks at the minute with James. Obviously, the flavour of everyone is really Chilwell, and then to have Tellers as well, it's just differential defence over there at the minute with Justin as well. All right, City against Burnley. I heard some words from Pep today saying, sort of encouraging words about Aguero coming back. Do you think he's going to come or be back in time for this one? It was rumours that he's been training.
I mean, maybe. I wouldn't suggest anyone getting him at this point. So he could come back, but until we know that he's fully fit for a while, I think it's hard to include him. Maybe he'll get some minutes in the Champions League this week, and then he might be a pick from then on if he comes through that unscathed. So let's see on him, really. The main person I want to talk about, I suppose, is KDB. 11.6 million, but 17.7% owned. So I assume that's going to go up a bit by the deadline. But lowest owned he's been for a while. That was last week as well. I think he was lower. But the fixture rate swing now is fully in force of Burnley at home, Fulham at home, Man United away, West Brom at home, Southampton away, and then Newcastle home. So Burnley, Fulham, and West Brom at home in the next 3 of the next 4.
Yeah.
Insane. So you couldn't get any better. And obviously at any point in other seasons we'd be like, wow, we need a triple up right now. But obviously City haven't been performing particularly well, especially going forward. They've only had 1 goal in the last 4. So I scored, here I have it here, scored 1 or less in the last 6 weeks. So in each game, not great. And then DCL himself has 10 goals, the same as the whole of the City team in 10 weeks. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, not ideal. But yeah, KDB, unlucky last week. He had that Diaz header off the line. Jesus had a chance, and Rodri had a header as well that he should have scored from. So he could have had triple assists in that game. His XA of 2.11 is only second behind Grealish. He's 14 shots. He's tied first for all midfielders for the last 4 weeks, and 1 big chance, 9 key passes, and 4 big chances created, which is the first of all midfielders. So I feel like there's points coming. But yeah, I found this. I was speaking to at Libero FPL on Twitter. So yeah, KDB stats since the start of 17-18 for his club. So 143 games. He's only had more than 1 goal on 2 occasions in 2 games, right?
Wow.
More than 1 goal contribution, which is goals and assists, has happened 23 times out of 143 games. 1 goal contribution in a game, so a goal or an assist, 45 times, and he's blanked 73 times out of 143 games. So from 143 games, only 25 games he's contributed more than once in. So are we thinking that's a captain material? Considering his sort of average of where he's sort of returned in more
I'm
than once.
I'm surprised how low that is. Are you?
I know, right? I was surprised as well. Yeah, it's I guess he's just been consistent, and obviously at 9.5 starting last year, I think it was 9.5, wasn't it? He was just super value, and he was overperforming on that season. So,
but he's wasn't delivering hauls really, or many of them, just consistent 8 or 9 point returns maybe.
Exactly, and obviously he did have a few mega holes last year, but nothing too consistent in the Mega Hall department. So obviously Burnley and City, like Burnley seems to be a team that City thrive against. Like they've had 2 5-0s in the past 3-0s and stuff like that. So this could be the game for captaincy on KDB, but at the same time it feels like he's not really on form, City aren't on form, so maybe it's just Burnley look alright defensively at the moment, so it could just be a 1-0 or something like that. Who knows?
I got the impression watching that Spurs game that he was just trying to do so much himself. And I don't know if that's just because Man or City, their sort of performance in front of goal has been so bad. He feels like now that he's the captain, he's got to take on more responsibility and do it more. But he was shooting from outside the box. Do you remember I think it was the second half, he had like a free kick, sort of like close to the TV side, and all the defenders went up, and he tried like a shot from the free kick at a really crazy angle, went over the bar. I just kind of felt like it's difficult to say he was playing for himself, but it looked like it. Do you know what I mean? He was taking on more than you'd expect and not finding his teammates as well. So I think something has changed with City and KDB this season, and maybe that's just them trying to work out how to improve their goal conversion rate. But interesting what you say about the blanks, because I'd have him sort of, if I was looking at your team, it would almost be an easy decision to give him the armband this week, because Burnley on paper looks a good fixture for them.
On paper, yes, but all that sort of historical data is just saying, and what they're looking like right now, it says possibly otherwise. But I mean, apart from the attack, like the fixture run looks so good for defensive clean sheets as well. Like they've got to get a few clean sheets in this. So I think Diaz, Cancelo, Laporte, maybe even Walker all seem like good options. Possibly Diaz just for the nailed onness. Cancelo at 5.5, I think he got a rise, and then Laporte, who did score but obviously ruled out last week at 6 million. Good options. I think you should probably include one of them. I'm looking at possibly Tellez to a Diaz or Cancelo quite quickly as well, so Tellez was quite short term, I suppose, in the end. But to one of those seems good to me.
Are you put off by the lack of clean sheets so far this season? I mean, they've only had one. Burnley, on the other hand, had 3.
I mean, not really. Look at those fixtures: Burnley, Fulham, West Brom, Southampton, Newcastle. Like, there's got to be clean sheets in there.
Okay, yeah, no, maybe. All right, on the Burnley side of things, like you say, they do typically get whomped by City. 22 goals conceded in the last 5 games. That's about an average of 4 goals, 0.2 per game. Their XG on the road this season has been pretty woeful. It's 4th worst, 0.9 per game. So, like you say, if City are going to get a clean sheet, then they better damn well get it in this one. And expected goals conceded, it's pretty mid-table away from home, 1.53, which is quite high, so you'd sort of expect, like you say, City to at least have that 1 goal, maybe 2 margin. You'd expect it to be a lot more. I don't really think there's many players to recommend on the Burnley front. I mean, Pope was back to his old ways, I suppose, a little bit. 5 bonus in the last 2 games, and he's got 8 bonus for the season now, and that's the 4th highest total of players who've secured bonus, and he missed a game, so I think he's doing well. But just to give you an idea on how pretty pants their attack has been, so Chris Wood had 3 shots in the box last night, 3 big chances, and he scored. So he's owned by 1% right. He had 28% of his shots in the box for the season in that game last night. So I think that it was a bit of a anomaly, that one, and I think he's going to revert to type soon. So yeah, Burnley, I think they've deserved their place near the bottom of the table recently, and they're going to be living off those home fixtures against teams in and around them. I don't see them getting much in the next couple of games.
Wilson going to get his goal versus Palace with those. If Wood could do it versus Palace, Wilson's going to get a goal.
Exactly. You better well do. All right, on to the next one. Everton, Leeds is happening on Saturday. We've got... I was a bit gutted, to be honest. After recommending me on the captaincy show, didn't go and stuck it on Grealish when you think, vice captain is going to be firmly on DCL. And as soon as that Grealish blank rolled in, I was thinking DCL's going to have a hell of a game. Then you see the match highlights and it bounces in off his leg like a tumbleweed around a bit, like a giraffe. It was incredible. And then the other one as well. Yeah. Anyway, 60% ownership now. Well, nearly. He's flying, isn't he? And more goals in this one. Leeds' defence is pretty pants. 2.75 big chance. Yeah, 2.75 big chance conceded on the roads is 2nd worst, and 5 shots on target conceded per game is the 5th worst away record. So yeah, they're not good on the road, Leeds. And Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison going to be licking their lips. What do you make of? I mean, the talking point for me on this one is James Rodriguez. because another blank in another away game against Fulham. Came off early. Yeah. What do you think of him at the moment? I was so close to getting him a few weeks ago, and it's kind of worked out.
I think it's sort of, it would have made sense. Nobody could have blamed you for buying him because of the fixtures, but 7.9 million. So he's risen. What did he start at? 7.5.
7.5. Yeah.
So 29.2% owned. Blanked in every single away game this season. He's had 2 hauls at home, and then one other was a 6-pointer with an assist. And he's blanked 6 times this season so far. So is he worth it anymore? Honestly, I don't think so right now. I mean, keep for the next 2, you'd say. Leeds at home, Burnley away. I think he's earned that sort of berth to have for the next 2 at least. And then after that, I think you probably have to get rid of him because there's other midfielders performing, or at least if he doesn't show any sort of signs of form. So he's not in the top 10 for any attacking stats from midfielders. Shots, big chances, XG, XA, none of them he's in the top 10 for. So right. And he did miss, what was it, like 2 games?
I think it was 2 games.
Yeah,
he was
2. So that was over the last 4 weeks. So that might explain some of it. But at the same time, he didn't really look like he did anything against Fulham. So yeah, I think DCL and Richarlison looked like the ones to go. Richarlison was clearly the missing piece for them, doing really well. Richarlison came in, scored a few. I mean, 3-2 against Fulham, not ideal, but their sort of attacking looked like it started to click, and then they sort of let off the gas in the second half, and they just didn't really go for more. But yeah, Calvert-Lewin, as we said, like 10 goals in 9 weeks now. He's blanked once all season. The fixtures are still pretty good. Obviously, the next 2. There's not really a reason not to own him, honestly. Obviously, if you go in differential, then fine. I mean, he's 60% owned. He's going to hurt you if he does anything. Maybe we should start actually captaining him.
I'm strongly considering it this week, as not sure about Salah or even bringing him in. I'm not sure about Fernandes up against that defence. The only other player I'd maybe captain is Vardy if I do that move. But yeah, at the moment my armband's firmly on Calvert-Lewin. I was wrong, sorry, about James Rodriguez. He only missed 1 game, so yeah, his stats are even poorer because of that. What did you make of Bamford? Obviously hit the post against Arsenal. He's good on the road. 23.9 expected points on the road this season, 39 actual. He's had 14 shots in the box away from home this season, 4 big chances, an XG of 2.5. That's the most shots in the box and big chances for any player away from home. His XG sits him at 4th best. I kind of think that with Everton's defence, we called it how they were in the poor before the Fulham game, and they showed themselves to be. Kind of feel like there's going to be goals in this one again, and Bamford, DCL look like they're going to be probably at the heart of it, I would have thought.
I mean, from week 4 onwards, he's had that 1 game against Villa where he scored the hat-trick, and then he's had 1 other return. So he's basically blanked in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 of the last 6.
Yeah, he's returning,
and then the other 2.
Yeah, sorry.
The other 2, he's just got he's got a haul and then 1 return. So I mean, you look at it like that, then that's not great. And I don't know, he's obviously getting the chances, but he's. I still just keep not picking him for some reason because I just don't trust him. And every time I should have gone for it, a Bamford and an Adams or something like that instead of a Wilson or Watkins, and it's just whatever. But his stats are still great, but I think he needs to do that again, like a good game again, like a brace or something or a goal. Then I can really pick him. But
you're still not sure.
I'm still not sure for some reason.
This is away form for me. Like his last 4 away games, or his only away games this season, 7, 17, 8 and 7. It's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, against Everton, you expect him to score 2 goals.
I think high score in that one. All right, last game on Saturday. I think it's the Saturday night game. God knows who's going to watch it. West Brom taking up on Sheffield United. I'm on the Sheffield United thing. I kind of lead into this one saying, is it going to be make or break for Wilder? 1.9 games. As I damn well know, the only team not to keep a clean sheet so far this season. Ramsdale, the perpetual 2-point villain in goal, and 4 goals scored. That's the same now as Burnley. 9 goals conceded away from home is the 3rd worst after West Brom themselves and Liverpool, which I love. Don't see a clean sheet coming in them for this one, and not sure I see any points. Could this be the end of Wilder, Kieran?
I think from last season they'll probably keep him for the season, maybe, possibly. Who would they get that's better than him?
Big Sam. Big Sam Allardyce. No?
Oh, God. No, I don't think so. But yeah, so from the West Brom side, this has got to be a damn squib of a game, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
awful.
So boring. Like the Fulham and the Palace and
Burnley game.
Burnley. Yes, why do I keep forgetting that?
Totally.
Just like that one, how boring that was. So I think this will be exactly the same. But the only thing to mention from West Brom is not really a player, but their defence has looked quite okay, honestly. Like their XGC is really bad still at 6.89, which is 17th. But they've only conceded 1 in the last 2 games against Spurs and Man U. So that's decent, I suppose, against 2 good teams that are like pretty good attacking wise. And obviously Spurs, who obviously were flying before, Man United had a lot of chances, but they kept them out with only 1 goal. So I think if they're going to stay up, they need to rely on that defence, because Ivanovic is pretty steely and Bartley is pretty good defender. So only conceded more than 1 as well once in the past 5 weeks, which is obviously a good improvement for them. So I would be wary of captaining anyone versus them at this point, because they're looking decent defensively. And then again, someone who did sort of impress me against Man United, was that Gallagher guy on loan from Chelsea. I was looking at it, I was like, he might be a decent 4.5 mid. And then I looked for the price, and he's inexplicably priced at 5.5 million. I was just like, what the hell is this?
It's mad.
Like, how is he 5.5 million? It just makes no sense. He should have been this year's
Campbell.
The guy from Norwich.
Campbell.
Campbell. I'm blanking everyone's name tonight. But yeah, 5.5 million for him, I thought was absolutely mental. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on, because it's boring.
It is boring, yeah. Enjoy that one, Saturday, 8 o'clock. All right, more exciting. Sunday kicks off with Southampton. Resolute, steely Southampton hosting Man United. Southampton are looking all right, aren't they?
I mean, you say that, defensively, we think they've been pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But against Wolves, who have been pretty woeful going forward, they conceded 20 shots.
That's just
20 shots in 1 game.
How many goals though? Wolves were just
obviously they only conceded
it around.
1, yes, but 2 big chances conceded, 15 shots in the box conceded. That doesn't bode well for United, who created quite a lot of chances against West Brom. Obviously, only put 1 away, but for it to fall properly against Saints, that it could be a maul-in for United again here. So,
but how have they been at home though? I'm pretty sure they've been better at home, haven't they?
I haven't got the stats on that.
I'll find the stats. You can tell me more about it.
So XG wise, they got 3.64, which is 16th overall, which is pretty bad. But they've scored 8, so they're massively overperforming their expected goals. Players mentioned obviously McCarthy this week, 4.5 million. And never got a price rise, which I think is kind of strange. At 20.1% owned, 4th highest scoring goalkeeper, 40 points, 8 saves versus Wolves. Obviously, big hero this week. Such a shame the clean sheet had to go, but he's had 6, 3, 6 and 7 in the last 4 weeks, which is obviously very consistent and nice. He's been consistent for clean sheets, but he's only actually got an extra save point in 3 of the 9 weeks, which is not ideal for someone at 4.5 million. You expect to sort of the bread and butter to be the save points, but he's keeping clean sheets more, which is obviously not bad. I'm not complaining too much, but and then on the attacking wise, obviously Adams, he's not blank since Ings has got injured, so he's picking up the slack massively. Yeah. And I just keep managing not to pick him. For some reason, I picked Watkins over him instead of Adams this week, and silly. 11, 8, 5, 7, and 7 in the last 5 weeks. So super consistent. 6 returns with 3 goals, 3 assists, performing on the XG and an XA. And versus Wolves, he had 2 shots, 3 key passes, 2 big chances created as well. So I think he's going to be a handful for Maguire and Lindelof this week.
Yeah, no, I agree. I could see him having a good game. I think United's defence has definitely improved though, so I'm not sure if he returns. So United have had 2.1 XGC in the last 4, which is the best record in the league. 6 shots conceded in that time is also the sort of the fewest, so the best record, and that's the same as big chances conceded. So yeah, I think he'll have a tough game to break down United. They seem pretty informed defensively.
They were lucky to not concede against West Brom though, very lucky. Obviously, I think it was a penalty, and there was a few other chances that De Gea did well at.
Yeah, I think Southampton will be right up for it. No, just to go back on the Southampton's home form, right? So home form, they played 4 games. So per appearance, they obviously got whipped in that Spurs game, but per appearance, on average, they've conceded just 3 shots on target. per game, and their expected goals conceded on average is the best in the league, 0.85. So yeah, they are defending well at home. You're right though. They got opened up against Wolves and conceded a lot, but at home they've been on average the best team in the league.
3 shots on target is enough for 3 goals. Just saying.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, all right, I'll give you that one. All right. Well, United, like you say, did look a bit suspect against West Brom, but lucky to win. Everyone had like a hissy fit over Hernandez scoring a penalty, which is just what he does. So I'm not really sure what the complaint's about. It was the same about Vardy earlier in the season and everyone else who's had penalties. 64 points overall now for Bruno. He snuck up to the 3rd highest scoring player. If that averaged out, that was 8 points per game over the season. 64 points from 8 games. Pretty incredible. Yeah, really great. Set 12, 11, 17 away from home so far this season. So do you dare not captain him? And I even made it in the notes. Word of warning, Saints have allowed the fewest shots in the box of all teams at home this season. He could have had a bigger haul as well. Like, he set 2 good chances up for Martial and Rashford, who were utter fluffers. Yeah, utter fluffers this season. So he could have had a big score again. So yeah, maybe he's a good pick. You're on Salah at the moment. You've got both. What's tipping you towards Salah?
I don't know. More explosive, possibly.
Okay.
More hat-trick potential, I guess. But no, I do like Fernandes. I will see if he plays tonight. Maybe he gets a rest, and then if he does get a rest, then I think I might be tempted by it. Just back my boy. Interesting.
All right. Okay. Just to quickly say about United's defence, we moved on. You mentioned them last week. You went Tellez and did well. Maguire, still, you also mentioned him. He's playing well. 3.1%. He's unlucky not to return against West Brom. Had a good chance. He's had 2 shots in the box in that one, which is the second highest of all players. And in the last 4 games, right, he leads all United players for shots in the box with 7. I mean, how has he done that? So he's got more than Martial, more than Rashford, more than Hernandez. Yeah, so maybe returns going from Maguire. And away games against Southampton, West Ham, and then a home game against Man City aren't the easiest, but yeah, United's form is good. All right, Sunday, another juicy one, Keek. Chelsea against Spurs. Who do you, right off the bat, who do you fancy for this one? Both looking good.
I mean, I think it's a 2-2 or something like that. I think it's goals.
High scoring, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd say that against, like, when 2 form teams come together, they often just cancel each other out for some reason. But yeah, I'm hoping for goals, I suppose.
Need an early goal, I think.
Not from Spurs, maybe, because I've got James, but although I do have Son at the same time. So I don't know, James needs attacking returns in this for points. Chelsea-wise, so their XGC of 2.25, second overall with only 1 conceded in the last 4 weeks. Obviously really good. Most people have double defense by now. A lot of people, I've seen someone on Twitter with triple defense, obviously came in this week, which is great. So yeah, I'm happy obviously with James. He's been benched in the Champions League this week, so prime for this game as well. So he looks like he's first choice Premier League right back. So yeah, great for me as an owner of James as the sort of differential type compared to Chilwell. Which is good. So, and then XG wise of 7.10, which 4th overall with 9 scored. And then Werner, obviously fluffing quite a lot of chances this week. He could have had possibly a hat trick or a brace
as well, couldn't he?
Yeah, annoying for his owners, I'm sure. But then I just want to mention Abraham. He's looking decent right now. He's starting the Champions League as well at the moment. So started the last 4 in a row and tonight, so that's 5 in a row. Which is including the last round of the Champions League as well. So 3 returns in his last 3 Premier League starts as well, with 5, 8, and 9. That's 2 goals and 1 assist. So, and he gets bonus points when he scores, like last year, which is good for him. So, yeah, looks like he's nailing down the spot. However, just a word of caution, he has been afforded this chance purely down to Pulisic injury and Havertz with his COVID, I think. So, when all of them are fit again, you'd assume it's going to be Abraham that drops out. So, yeah, just word of warning if you're thinking of picking him up. Obviously, at 2.4%, he looks like a great differential right now, at least. So, Pulisic, I imagine, might be out for like maybe 1 more week, maybe 2 at the best. I mean, Havertz is on the bench tonight, so I think he's back now. So, it's probably maybe a little too late for Abraham, but yeah, if you really want to go there, maybe on a free hit for next week might be okay. But yeah,
I do like all the Chelsea assets at the moment, and I think their fixtures are good. I can see their attackers picking up returns in this Tottenham game. I think if Chelsea score, it's going to be the key to this game is if one of the teams scores really early and then the other team can't or has got to attack. I think there could be returns in this one for Tottenham, and they got Leeds after that. Oh, sorry, returns this one for Chelsea, and then they got Leeds after that. Everton, two defences that aren't great. So I think Chelsea assets still looking really good at the minute. Spurs, what a result against City. We sort of called it last week with City's poor attack, and Spurs defensively looking a lot smarter. So I mean, then their defence isn't being spoken about much, but that was just one goal conceded in the last 4 games. I think it's 3 clean sheets thrown in there as well. I think they're tightening up at the back. Regulion, is that how you pronounce that?
Regulon?
Yeah, I think he's going under the radar a little bit. I mean, he's not pulling up trees with big defensive scores, but 4, 6 and 6 in his last 4 appearances and just 4%. He's only 5.6 million, and I think after the Chelsea and Arsenal games out of the way, and I think that Palace game, they could probably get a clean sheet there. Liverpool, I'm sure they'll play the same way they did against Man City. They'll sit in deep seat. You know they're never going to get beaten big if they're playing on the sort of form they are at the minute. So I don't think he's a bad shout. I mean, don't know what else to say about Kane and Son at this point, because drop them at your peril, really. Tied as the highest scoring players now. Shown they can do it against City, so why not away against Chelsea? Kane seems to be playing in some of his greatest form at the minute. We talked about Son being quiet in home games against lesser teams, but away or sort of against big teams on the counter-attack, away from home against any team on the counter-attack, he's a problem. So Son, 14 points per game average. Kane, 12.57 points per game average on the road so far this season. So yeah, I think they're looking a good bet to continue point scoring, really.
We did say we thought that could be a good game for Son on the break, didn't we?
Yeah.
It came to pass. And obviously, I think both of us were kind of forced into keeping him just because of other issues, because I was going to sell him. So if I didn't have the Salah out and stuff like that, I would have sold him probably for a Ziyech or a Grealish. So obviously happy I didn't, and that, I guess, is a little bit of luck. But like we did say, these sort of games are perfect for them on the break. So I feel like Son's... I think he's had his best season by far, and he's reached like his most goals or something in like 9 weeks compared to something like 18 weeks or something like that last season. So yeah, on form, and I feel like I'm just going to keep him for ages. I mean, he's there to be sold. He is a cash cow, but these fixtures look good for him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I look at Kane, and I see a lot of people doing the same on Twitter. They look at Kane and think, "Oh, there's a lot of money there. I'm going to get rid of Kane this week."
Vardy.
Yeah, and get Martial. But at the moment, Kane's in such hot form, and so are Spurs. Then I don't see why. I mean, I nearly regretted taking out Werner for Kane a few weeks ago. But since then, I think he's returned in every game. He got that 9-point game when I captained him against West Brom last week. So,
yep.
Yeah, at the moment, even though the fixtures are rough, I think Spurs are playing well enough to justify in both of them, to be honest. So, long may it continue. Right, who have we got next? Arsenal against Wolves. Have we missed a fixture?
No, not that.
Okay.
As far as I know.
We have missed a fixture. Fulham against Leicester. Oh, no, we haven't. That's the afterwards, right? I was thinking to get confused. All right, Arsenal against Wolves. This is Monday night, isn't it now?
Yes. No, this is still Sunday night.
Still Sunday night. Oh, my God. All right, Wolves against Arsenal. Let's talk about that one before I get any more confused.
I think it might be kind of boring, honestly, this one. Both teams look quite bad. Attacking-wise, Arsenal look they're still setting up for defensive. I mean, Aubameyang, as we've mentioned quite a few times, what the hell has happened to him? Plays central striker this week for the first time this season, but still struggled. Somehow in the last 4 weeks, he's actually had 7 shots, which God knows how, because it seems like he's taken none. And he's had 1 big chance in 4 weeks, which is actually the penalty versus Man United, which is
isn't it?
Bad. 5 key passes, 0 big chances created. His XG is 1.01, and that's including the penalty. So without it, it'd be around 0.35. And then his XA of 0.36. So 4 weeks of 0.35 with Aubameyang is basically a striker. Like, that's so bad. He's having a bad season. So, and I don't really know if it's going to improve. I don't know what's going to improve them. Pepe starting and then getting sent off. Maybe that could have been something for them, but no. Wolves obviously good defensively. Arsenal just not scoring. So, I mean, you could possibly start your Semedos, your Kilmans in this game and hope for a clean sheet, honestly. So, and then just for the defence-wise, their defence is obviously looking decent. I mean, Leno at 5 million, big 10-pointer this week. 4th highest scoring goalkeeper, I think, or maybe 3rd, actually. Or 5th, sorry. I think it was, I did the notes after the Saints, or before the Saints game last night. second highest scoring asset from Arsenal behind Bellerin. So there you go. The two top highest scoring assets from Arsenal are two defenders. So only two traditional top 6 until the end of January, though. So might be worth investing in their defence. Clean sheets versus the dangerous Leeds and Man United in the last 4 weeks. So yeah, something to consider. Bellerin's quite cheap as well, at 5 million-ish. Holding at 4.5 if you want to go there. Gabriel 5.1, I believe. So there is value in that defence if you want to go for it.
Definitely, yeah. And like you say, I think this is going to be a bit of a quiet, damp squid of a game. I mean, Wolves, their attack hasn't been great recently. 3.66 XG is the third worst of teams on the road, and 3 goals scored. So yeah, I think it's going to be a quiet game. They're good away from home as well defensively. So 14 shots on target conceded, 4 by Wolves. This is his 4th best record. So I think it's going to be a quiet game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a 0-0 in this one. So yeah, play defenders.
Yeah, I'm tempted to start Kilman over James. That does seem a bit silly, possibly, but he's 100% first bench because I think there is a clean sheet on the cards. And I just don't know where I can fit him in actually in my team, unfortunately. Maybe Wilson misses out and Kilman
comes in. Yeah. All right, on to Monday. Leicester host Fulham. Leicester, who I backed to beat Liverpool on Sunday, they just didn't turn up, did they? At all.
No.
Looked really poor. Vardy coming into this one, he's obviously going to be seeing quite a lot of transfers in because just those fixtures look juicy. Fulham, Sheffield United, Brighton, and even Everton in the next 4. Have you considered him for this week, or priorities elsewhere, or not the funds to do it?
Yeah, it's hard. I don't have any way to really go for him just because I've spent that money to get up to that third striker now, and that I've got such a strong midfield that there's no one I want to get rid of in there at the moment. So that's where the money from Vardy just isn't there right now. So yeah, not for me, unfortunately. I could take a hit to get it, but I don't think he's worth a hit.
No.
Yeah, not for me.
No, fair enough. I think if I doubted Kane any a little bit, I would. But at the moment, I kind of, even despite the fixtures, I back Kane to sort of match him over these next maybe 3 to 4 games. And although I won't be captaining Kane in those games, and I probably would be Vardy, I still think it's probably not worth the transfer. If I could move some money around, it'd be great to get him into my attack elsewhere. But I don't really
know. It could be. It's feast or famine with Vardy. Very feast. And he could do really well, but who knows? I mean, Fulham have looked woeful.
Yeah.
Still woeful. So, he could feast. The only other one I really want to mention on that team is Justin. So I own him at the moment, and I obviously am starting him this week against Fulham, obviously. But how long does he have in the team? Because Ricardo is back. He played a game for the under-23s, I think it was yesterday. So I think he'll probably get some minutes off the bench before he starts any games. So I think Justin at least has this game, and then I'll probably try and look to move him on, unfortunately, because he's been all right. But yeah, 22.4%, 4.8 million is decent. And if he can just get a clean sheet in this one, he was close to scoring as well against Liverpool, cut in off the corner off the flank and had a shot that just went over the bar, which is unlucky. But yeah, his attacking wise in the last 4 weeks, he's only had 1 shot, which I just mentioned, and XG and XA of 0.01. So yeah, Rodgers is probably can't wait to get Ricardo back in the team, I assume, from the attacking perspective. So I just hope that Justin can maybe fit in the back 3 and replace Fuchs.
Who are you looking
maybe
at?
He doesn't lose his space.
Who are you looking at as replacement, maybe, if he does lose?
For Justin? So I'm thinking Akufal seems good.
Yeah.
There's a few. Taylor possibly, who's obviously gone down in price, who Burnley are looking better. There's a few.
Lamptey maybe?
Yeah, Lamptey maybe. Yeah, Webster's 4.4. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few nice options about that price. I do like Kufal a lot. I think if Lascelles is out for any amount of time, then Kufal's going to come in for me. On the Fulham side of things, I haven't got anyone to recommend, but I was just going to say, do you remember when we said load on Fulham because they got great fixtures? Well, that run is over now.
I don't think we ever said that. I read that and I was like, we surely never said that.
Yeah, I think we did around game week 1. We were like, if we're ever going to get a Fulham player, game week 2 to 9, their fixtures look good. The rest of the season, they're bad. But the run for Fulham now is over. So game weeks 2 to 9, when they basically played no top 4, top 6 teams, Their highest scoring player was Mitrovic with 29, so that means an average per game for him was just over 3. 7.26 expected goals conceded this season on the road is the 4th worst per away game, and they also concede 6.25 shots per game, which is the 2nd worst behind Newcastle. So I do expect them to get beaten by 2 or 3 in this game. I suppose it just depends who's involved. Going forward, they're a little bit better. 2 big chances away from home per appearance is the same as Chelsea, Man City and Arsenal, and the 6th highest overall. So not been as clinical, obviously, as those above teams. They only scored 1 away goal this season. So your just in clean sheet probably is going to be nail-bitingly safe. I think it's could be down. Not, but yeah. Vardy captain's going to be popular. I did have a look at his numbers at home so far this season. I think he's had 4, a 2 and a 2, or it might have been 4, a 2 and a 2 in his 3 home appearances this season. So maybe it's either time for him to turn the tide, or like you say, feast or famine for Vardy. It could be famine.
I mean, I hope so, because I'm not going to own him, so yeah, see.
All right, last game of the game week. West Ham, Aston Villa. Grealish. 40% ownership he's up to now. Twice he's had a favourable home game this season. Twice he's ended on 1 point. He had a combined expected points of 12 in those 2 blank games, and obviously actual points of 2. I would have been so happy with even a 6-point captain haul, but it wasn't to be. Big ownership now. 8, 3 and 6 in away games so far this season, so he has been good on the road for them. What do you think about this one? I think it looks like a tight game, maybe perhaps a single goal either way.
I mean, on paper you'd expect either team could go out and win this, and quite comfortably, honestly. But
yeah. No.
Well, after that, he's got great fixtures. So
yeah. Well, West Ham.
I'm just hoping he blanks. Obviously, 40% is rough. Not owning.
It's really scary. West Ham have been good at back. So only 2 goals conceded in the last 4, and that was 1 against Liverpool, 1 against City. And the fact that he constricted those 2 to just 1 goal was quite impressive in itself. And at the same time, Villa have been good away from home. So they've just averaged just 0.9. I think that's expected goals conceded in their last 3 away games, which is the 2nd best record. So, both teams look like they're pretty damn good defensively. So, like you say, I think it could be a close one.
Yeah. So West Ham, obviously, like we said, great run of fixtures. I think it was 1 or 2 top 6 sides until end of January or something. So awesome, really good. I think from 15 as well, they got a really, really good run of fixtures again, just all greens basically for like 5 to 6 weeks, which is awesome. But yeah, 4 nows, I think he went up last night, 6.5 million, 1.9% owned. So yeah, still super differential as we mentioned last week, and he obviously came up trumps this week with an assist. He's the 7th highest scorer in mid in the game, and he's only basically 2% owned. So I mean, why are we not on him? It doesn't really make sense. So he's got more points than Jay Rodriguez, for example, Rashford, Sterling, KDB, Aubameyang, Mahrez, etc. 6.4 million. He's obviously providing great value and going under the radar. So he's had 6 returns this season of 2. Which is obviously okay, I suppose, but he's been pretty inconsistent in general. So 2, 9, 12, 2, 2, 10, 3 and 6. So he's had a few games where he's got multiple returns, and then the others have been feast or famine, as I mentioned with Vardy. So inconsistent, but at that sort of price, maybe you could sort of deal with that at 6.4 million, sort of like a Foden, but at least he's going to start every game, like a Foden. So otherwise, Kufal, 4.6 million, 2.1% owned. Again, like proper differential. He's blanked once in all the games he started for the Hammers. 5, 4, 7, 1, 8 and 6. So in the games where they've conceded, he's got an assist. So yeah, crazy consistent. Just 4.6 million. Justin and Eiling in my team look like a replacement ready for him. So no brainer, I think. He's had 1 shot, 6 key passes, XG of 0.17, XA of 0.25. So his attacking stats aren't great, but the 6 key passes is decent enough. And the clean sheet potential looks there right now for West Ham. So hopefully they don't go off the boil and start conceding all the time. But yeah, he looks a good option.
Yeah, no, I like I said just a minute ago, I like him a lot. I think he was basically like 1 foul in the 89th minute away from getting 2 bonus as well. Apparently he fouled someone by the corner flag and lost that. So Gutted for those players. Right, that wraps up the preview. Obviously, people that joined us watched the show last week know we're also doing the Cougar Cubs / differentials video as well as the captaincy. But let's just wrap up this show, Keith, by just talking about who we think at this stage we're going to captain and our transfer plans, if any. Do you want to start and lead off on that one?
So it's either Salah or Bruno for captain for me, I think.
Okay.
Maybe De Bruyne if I fancy it. And then transfer-wise, I think it's either roll for me or possibly just go straight from Tellez to a City defender. But I think I might wait on that and just give Tellez a couple of weeks and see what happens. Okay.
And for me, I think I'm still a bit up in the air because Lascelles is yellow flagged. Both Lascelles and Wilson orange flag. And then my bench, I've only got Reed because Mitchell and Size aren't playing. So I've got potentially 4 players out. And at most, I don't want to take more than a 4-point hit. So I need to think carefully about it. I'm going to captain Calvert-Lewin over Fernandes. I'm going to keep with my differential captaincies, I think. But at the moment, Calvert-Lewin's staying there. We'll see. I'm a bit up in the air. I should just say, if Lascelles is out, Koupal's my replacement. If Wilson's out, I might work out a way and see if I can get Werner or Vardy in there. But not sure how yet. I do have quite a lot of money in the bank. My team's really cheap. And I could get $1 million back off Sice and maybe even Ramsdale. Anyway, a lot to decide and we'll update. Anyway, that's all from us. We'll be back later in the week to do our Cougar Cub / differential video as well as our captaincy video. Thanks everyone for joining us. We will see you next time.
Cheers, good luck everyone.
Bye bye.